smell of the sea, the sound of the sea, the calmness, the space. Yeah, definitely the space. Blue sky, blue sea, yeah, happy days.
You sleep with the windows open at night and you can hear the sea where we are. It's just a comforting thing.
I love the sea. Rougher the better. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but rougher the better.
I've lived here all my life, 76 years. I was born here. My parents came to Selsey at the end of their honeymoon and stayed in Selsey. They fell in love with it, and it is a very lovable place. People come down here year after year, and then when they retire, they buy down here.
I love the fresh air. Whenever I go to Chichester, I find it's very thick and it's too hot, and I do enjoy the air from here.
Living by the coast is something really special, and I don't think everyone can understand it if they don't live next to the sea.
Coastal communities sort of develop their own culture, and yes, you get other people coming in who just want to live by the coast, but they get caught up in the culture.
I think we live a very different life, a much freer life than you would do living inland.
If I couldn't live by the sea, well, I'd be really sad. I mean, it's quite a lot to me. It makes people really happy because it's just fun to go to the beach.
Oh, it's the most amazing place. It's so dynamic. That's what I really love about it. The countryside, it's all stayed and green downs stay where they are, but the coast will change overnight if need be with high tides and many other things. So it's the dynamic quality I love. It's never boring.
My earliest memory of the beach is probably walking down to the beach after school with my mum and coming and sitting down here with an ice cream and then paddling in the beach.
Rock pooling. Yes, I loved going rock pooling, looking for crabs and anything else I could find, shrimp in.
Very windy, rough at seas, and just hot summers really.
My first experience of going out on the water were with fishermen in small boats like this.
I started going to sea with my father when I suppose I was about 5, 6, and ever since then I've been fishing.
Well, it's my whole life. It's you know, it's just everything. It's a fishing village. It's all it's ever been. Yeah, you took the fishing away from it, and it would just be a big hole in the community, you know.
As a kid, I used to run down the beach to watch the boat go. Quite an exciting job, I thought.
I considered it as an extension to my job as a local fisherman.
The station's been here now for 150 years. It's a central part of the maritime tradition, if you like, at Selsey.
Everybody in the village knows we've got a lifeboat, everybody supports it, everybody's interested every time it's out.
Very important. Very. I hope they never take it away from here. Never.
This particular area is such a rarity to have such space. Everywhere else, Brighton, Worthing is so built up, and you've got this little gem back by the Downs.
It's a very rich environment. I mean, you've got the beautiful sand dunes of East Head, one of the fastest, if not the fastest moving sand and shingle spit in the UK, and it's covering a beautiful salt marsh. And in wildlife terms, it's the richest in the world. There's more life in a centimetre of a salt marsh than there is in a rainforest.
Well, really it comes down to species. Without animals and plants, we don't exist. And we've got a huge diversity of animals and plants, and it's keeping that and keeping the balance.
I want to be able to fish here for as long as I live. I'd like any children to fish here if they wanted to as well. I'm sure most people feel the same.
Managing coastal change is happening, but it doesn't mean you should walk away from it, you should manage it. And where you can allow a salt marsh to develop on an agricultural field, as long as the farmer's compensated, then that should happen.
The boathouse at the turn of the century was actually on the beach, which would now be probably 300 yards out in the sea. Our old second coxswain, George, well, in my lifetime, he said, I played cricket, grown onions and caught prawns in the same spot.
The coastline is important to the whole of British Isles. I mean, we are an island, or islands, and we can't afford to shrink. Great Britain is getting smaller Britain.
The sea has been the best part of my life. I hate to move away from it. If I ever go inland for a day or so, it's something I always want to get back to at the end of the day.
No, never move away, no, definitely not. It's my life. It's nice to be able to walk 30 seconds out your door, down to the beach, and you're on the sea. You can't beat that, there's nothing better.
You don't really realise you've got a relationship with the sea until you're away from it. And remind yourself how lucky you are to live on the coast.
I've been to a hell of a lot of seaside places over the years, and I must admit this is still my favourite.
That's everything. Bring the kids here, walk the dogs here, wouldn't be about it. Wouldn't want to be about it.
I've got a lot of children and grandchildren who live in the village. I'm hoping that as they get older, they'll have the same pride in Selsey, the beaches, or any beach in the country.
I think we borrow the land for the next generation, and we hope to educate the young people so they look after it for the next generation after then. We need to make it sustainable. It is a beautiful place.
Most young people don't know anything about it, and it's a shame, because maybe we'd want to do something if we were allowed to know about what was happening.